others probably didn't go to class.
Welcome to KVCC Action Basketball, direct from Cougar Arena on the campus of Kalamazoo Valley Community College. The Cougars are fresh off at an 80-77 win at Glen Oaks and now hold a 1-4 conference record. Tonight they have a tough conference matchup against the Lansing Stars, and the Cougars need another win to gather momentum for the remainder of the season. Hi, I'm Dave Hauser, and along with my partner Gordon Miller, we'll be describing tonight's contest. Our cameraman Tim Guyden will follow the action, and Jeff Moore will gather the stats. Let's get an update on the team now as we switch to our pregame interview with Coach Schultz.
Bobby is not dressed. No.
Coach, you had your first conference win this Wednesday night at Glen Oaks. Would you care to tell us a few comments on that game?
Well, it was a great win for us, Dave. Glen Oaks has a feisty team, and we had them down 10 at half, 32-22. Really, the halves were a contrast in styles because it was low scoring in the first half, a lot of defense. And we did improve our defense, I thought. We switched our defenses during the game, and it confused them a little bit. Second half, they have a little guard named Dennis Rasky. And Dennis had 22 in the second half, only had 2 at halftime. They had an amazing OERs, 1.21 or something like that in the second half, and we had to hang on. They scored 55 points, and we scored 48, so we protected it. And it really wasn't quite as close as the score indicated. It was tied 50-50, but then we managed to get back up and hang on to 6 or 7 point lead, and I think we spurted it out to 10 again once, but it was 7 points with about 2 minutes to go, and they closed it down to 4.
Okay, Coach, you have some injuries tonight and also some illnesses to deal with.
Yes, Tim Bovey is not dressed again tonight, but we are encouraged because we were afraid Tim might be out for maybe even a month. But he's not on crutches. He was only on crutches for a couple of days, and he was able to jog a little bit the other day. So we're hopeful that next week he'll get back and try to get back in shape, and maybe by late next week we'll be able to use him again. Matt Lehman, right after the Glen Oaks game, became upset and looked like he might have the flu or something, and our team went over to his house to eat. His parents served us all, so it was kind of a bittersweet time for him. And then yesterday he had to go to the doctor's office, so he missed practice. He was diagnosed as having the flu, but not mono, nothing more serious than that. He got a penicillin shot, so he's a little weak. I probably could start him. He is going to be able to play, but I'm not going to start him tonight. I'm going to start Reggie Flynn, and Matt will be coming off the bench for Reggie.
These Lansing players look pretty big. And you're going to go with a smaller lineup tonight?
Yes, we are, Dave. They've had a history. Of course, they have a different coach, but a history of using a lot of presses. They have the big guy in the middle, the 6'9" guy that obviously is going to be a big factor on the boards, and we've got to work hard to keep him off the boards. But I think our more mobile lineup is hopefully that's going to give us some advantages on offense too. And Reggie works so hard on defense, Dave, and one of our weaknesses has been defense, and we need to get people out there that are really digging at the defensive end. And I think he's ready to make that kind of contribution, whether it be off the bench or not. He did not play very much at Glen Oaks. The game was tight, and Reggie, as you know, can also be mistake-prone sometimes, so it wasn't the situation that we felt we could get him in much down there. But hopefully he'll start off and be relaxed tonight and get his confidence back a little bit and start to flow a little bit more. If he doesn't, I got to get Matt in there real quick.
Okay, well, good luck tonight, Coach.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Okay, we're going to have the starting lineups as soon as the playing of our national anthem. introduction of our starting lineups. For the Lansing Stars, number 22, Mike Zeski at 6'5". Number 20, Andy Cleary, averaging 3 points per game. Bob McDougall, number 20, at 6'3". At 5'8", Chuck Lewis, averaging 10.5 points per game, number 24. Number 44, Charles Isom at 6'9". Number 41, Howard Renth at 12.3 points per game. Number 50, Nate Adams at 6'2". Number 14, Reggie Flynn at 3 points per game. Number 14. Number 55, Caleb Miller at 6'3". Number 42, Ed Finch at 17.7 points per game. The Lansing Stars are coached by Bob Wetzel, and the Cougars by Coach Dick Schultz. The referees tonight are Tom Nada and Jim Castra. Gordon, you had a chance to talk with Bob Wetzel. What did you find out about the Lansing Stars?
Well, Dave, there's one thing I ought to mention first, and that is that we're not going to start the game with the jump ball. Charles Isom dunked the ball in a pregame warm-up, which is a violation of the rule. So we're going to start out with a technical shot, and Kalamazoo Valley will get the ball. And going back to your question, then what did Bob Wetzel have to say? When I talked to him, he wasn't very chatty, and that could be for about 4 reasons. Maybe one of them is I talked to him right after they assessed the technical. The second reason is Lansing is 2-12 in the league right now, and 2-12 overall, and 0-5 in the league. That puts Kalamazoo Valley up 1-0.
Yeah, sure. We had the guy to do it, too. Andy Cleary, I think, is leading the free throw ladder leaderboard.
Yeah. Then there's been a lot of turnover in Lansing's program this year. They've lost a couple starters. That's right. And another reason is Bob Wetzel, and this may make him uncomfortable, is an interim coach. Arch Frank is taking a sabbatical this year.
Okay.
And they had a pretty good program last year at 16-12, and things aren't going right for them right now.
Okay, well, we're into action now. Andy Cleary with the ball. Chuck Lewis out on top. Reggie Flynn from 15 feet, no good, off the side of the rim. Rebound by number 20, Bob McDougall. They have quite a height advantage out there, Gordon.
Yeah, number 44, Charles Isom, is 6'9", and they have another man 6'5". Really, it's just Charles Isom. He's big enough that...
Okay, number 50, Nate Adams with that banker from about 12 feet and puts Lansing up in front, 2-1. Howard Renth with the ball, looking inside. Reggie Flynn now down to Ed Finch. Let's go from about 16 feet. No good. Tip Howard Renth, no good. Rebound Isom. Now number 22 is Mike Zeski with the ball. That's about the only matchup where we have an advantage, Gordon. I think Ed Finch is about a half-inch taller than Zeski. Everywhere else, we're looking upwards. Fouls on Caleb Miller. It's his first.
It's almost inconceivable that they'd have a big man in the middle, 6'9", and be 2-12 at this point in the season, but they are. Things have not gone well, and they'd like to get things on the right track tonight.
Looks like they're starting out in the zone now. I think that, were they man-to-man when the first series? I don't recall.
I think that they were. Because I remember Howard Drent threw Charles Isom, and I was looking at that. There was about 5 inches difference.
Okay, Reggie Flynn had a shot, passed it up, tried to force it into Howard Drent, and it was slapped out of bounds, and that'll go to the Cougars.
I mentioned that they were 16 and 12 last year. Good part of that was...
Good pass by Chuck Lewis, but Howard Drent traveled with the ball, and that'll give it back over to Lansing. 2-1 here at 18 minutes and 29 seconds remaining in the first half.
Last year, Lansing had Jim Manuel, who started off at Western Michigan, and I just asked the coach what if he's playing ball, because there was quite a bit of interest in him last year, and he said he's not, and he's going to sit out a year, and hopefully he'll be ready to play next year.
So he has another year of eligibility?
No, I believe at a four-year college.
Okay,
He'll have 2 years left.
Reggie from the corner, too strong. Rebound Howard Drent. He's driving in the bucket, puts it up with the left hand. Doesn't get it, but collects a foul there by, I think, number 50. We'll check that out. Yes, number 50, Nate Adams on the foul.
That was good use of the body by Howard Drent. He had a size edge on Nate, and it's a good thing that he took that like he did.
Well, that first one doesn't fall. Howard Drent's shooting about 75% from the line. He should make this one. Yes, sir. Percentages hold true. 2-2, tie ball game, 18 minutes left in the first half. Look like the Cougars got in a zone there, Gordon.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often, but...
Well, there's that white line trick again. First-year players here seem to have a lot of trouble with that out-of-bounds line. Happens about once a ball game. And now I think Lansing's in a 2-3 zone. Ooh. Andy Cleary just did look in time for that pass. I think we're going to need some perimeter shooting tonight. Chuck Lewis looks at it. Reggie Flynn gets his man up in the air and draws a foul. That'll be the third team foul on Lansing, and I think that's number 55, Caleb Miller's second foul.
You mentioned the perimeter shooting. That's where Matt Lehman will come in handy. Good thing that is still able to play. He's not feeling well enough to start, but
Andy Cleary driving top of the lane. Has to give it off to Reggie Flynn. Chuck Lewis penetrating. Reggie can't find a shot and back out on top. Oh, good pass by Chuck Lewis to Ed Finch. And Ed Finch puts in that 12-footer. Puts the Cougars out in front again, 4-2, with 17 minutes and 13 seconds left to go in the first half.
Well, Chuck Lewis does live up to his nickname, Mr. Excitement. And
shot by number 20, Bob McDougall, finds the bottom of the net. Tie ball game, 4-piece. 16 minutes and 50 seconds remain in the first half. Pick down low for Reggie Flynn.
They're in a man-to-man.
Good drive by Andy Cleary, can't get the bucket. Rebound out there by Mike Zeski, and Lansing on the attack, looking up quick to Miller. Pass goes back into the center, and it's retrieved by Bob McDougall, and they'll start over again. Shot by Adams, doesn't get it, but Charles Isom gets a rebound, and now Lansing gets a new 45. Another shot, no good. A lot of contact underneath. Adams working hard on the board, and he gets a bucket. 6-4 in favor of Lansing. Lansing's back into a man-to-man now.
Well, Dave, I hope Kalamazoo Valley can...
Andy Cleary picks up the loose ball and scores from about 14 feet in the baseline.
I hope Kalamazoo Valley can build up a little edge here, because the longer Lansing stays with them, the more they're going to start to think that they're better than their record.
Yeah. I see Matt Lehman getting ready to check in. I think Coach wants a little more perimeter shooting, and he wants to give Matt a shot at it there after being a little sick here this week. Boy, Lansing getting a lot of rebounds underneath. Reggie Flynn finally rips it off. Chuck Lewis on a break. Drives around his man up with the left hand. Pretty shot by Chuck Lewis. 8-6 now in favor of the Cougars with 15 minutes and 19 seconds left in the first half. Cougars fall back into their zone. Nate Adams driving that lane, puts up a shot, doesn't get it. Howard Drent with the rebound, out to Chuck Lewis. Cougars in a hurry, but Lansing's back fast, and now we'll set up a shot.
It was unusual that referee made the call from across the floor.
Reggie moved the ball quite a bit, but I didn't see the shuffle, but referee's opinion's the one that matters there. 8-6 in favor of the Cougars. Just under 15 minutes left in the first half.
I think you'd introduce the referees to the fans at home, but their names are Tom Nada and Jim Castro.
Okay. Paul's into Isom. He gives a good move around Howard Drent, and Howard Drent rejects that shot. Picked off by number 40 into the game is Rob Davis. He scores a 10-footer, and he'll have a chance for a three-point play.
That's Rob Davis is Lansing's only other experienced player outside of Charles Isom. I introduced the two officials who didn't pay their way, and I recognize some officials, some Kalamazoo Valley fans who also double as officials.
Matt Lehman got a block on a shot there by number 20, Bob McDougall, and a foul on 22, Mike Zeski. And that gives the ball over to the Cougars. Tie ball game, 8-8. 14.5 minutes remain in the first half. Looks like Andy Cleary's playing the point guard position, Gordon, and Chuck Lewis at the off guard.
Yeah, that surprised me a little bit since Chuck leads the team in assists.
Well, Chuck has been scoring well in the past few games, so Coach wants him to put that ball up, take advantage of that hot shooting.
He is a good shooter.
Matt Lehman, his first shot's a little short. Picked off by Bob McDougall. Back to Miller. Ball's flying around. It's picked off by Matt Lehman. A lot of contact there, no foul. Lansing has the ball. Tie ball game, 8-8. This is one of our lower scoring efforts so far, Gordon. Good pass is batted away by Matt Lehman. Picked up by Andy Cleary, and we'll set up a play. Lansing in a 2-3 zone right now. Chuck Lewis gets it into Ed Finch. Good drive. That mishandle worked out well. It bounced off his arm, came right back up to him, gave him a nice shot. 10-8 in favor of the Cougars. 13 minutes and 20 seconds remain in the first half. Lansing about has to shoot it to get the ball inside for a good shot, Gordon. They're doing well on the offensive boards right now. There, Caleb Miller put in about a 15-footer at the 13-minute mark. Ties the ball game again at 10-10. Lansing falls back into a man-to-man. Matt Lehman gets it into Ed Finch, works it around, makes a good move. Ed Finch has really been lighting it up here lately, Gordon.
Yeah, he's had some good games. He's averaging 17 points in the league, and
he's very consistent. 17-7, I think, in overall, and 17-2 in the league, or vice versa, one of those. But
yeah, he had 22 points on Wednesday night against Glen Oaks, which was a big win for Kalamazoo Valley. They had a little losing streak going, and he turned that around.
Okay, after that last bucket there, 12-12. Rebound Lansing. They have a chance to break the tie. Just over 12 minutes remaining in the first half.
Another thing Kalamazoo Valley did in that game against Glen Oaks was they were 24 for 29 from the free throw line, which is pretty respectable.
Yeah, they've had some difficulties with the free throw shooting some of their games, but they came through when they had to at Glen Oaks.
Gary Andre checks into the game for Howard Drent.
All right, Howard gets a rest. 12 minutes now remain in the first half. Andy Cleary, Chuck Lewis with an open 15-footer, and he gets it. Puts the Cougars up by 2, 14-12.
Cougars are in a 1-2-2 defense here, zone.
Yeah, I think that was Chuck's third bucket of the night, so he scored just under half the point. There's a travel, I think, on number 20, Bob McDougal, as Andre Bolden checks into the lineup.
Been quite a few traveling calls so far tonight.
Yeah.
There's been half a dozen already.
Andre Bolden gives a good pass into Gary Andre, and he puts it in 2 points. Good play, 16-12.
Nice assist by Andre Bolden.
Yeah, came right off the bench and made a real nice pass. McDougal, Rob Davis from about 18 feet, no good. Andre Bolden, outlet pass to Chuck Lewis. And he finds traffic pretty heavy and slows it up. Andre Bolden looks from about 18 feet, just short. And I think Matt Lehman's gonna pick up a foul on that rebound. That's Valley's first foul, and they played almost just a little over 9 minutes. So.
I'm not. The clock shows 2 team fouls, Dave. I don't recall the first one, but.
Okay, Howard Drenth checking back into the game for Ed Finch. Andy Cleary comes back for Chuck Lewis, and Matt Lehman gets a rest again. Again, Matt Lehman's battling some flu tonight, so he'll probably go in for about 2 or 3 minutes and then come sit down a while. Kalamazoo Valley in a zone at this point.
And I may have mentioned this before. Tim Bovey's still out with an ankle injury. He's off crutches, so hopefully he'll be back in a bit.
Okay, good rebound by Andre Bolden. Gives a pass to Reggie Flynn. Hauls it down and gives it back to Andy Cleary. Back to Reggie. And Kalamazoo Valley showing a little patience there as they passed up a few shots. Looking for that good one. Now they're getting it in close. Gary Andre with the drive, and he's going to be called for a charging foul. Good move toward the bucket, but Lansing player had position. 16-12, a 4-point lead for the Cougars. 10 minutes and 14 seconds left. I thought Coach Wetzel was asking for timeout, but he made some sort of adjustment. And now we're back into the game. Rob Davis with the ball, drives it around, puts it off the bankboard too hard, and he's hammered there across the back by Reggie Flynn. I think there were several Valley players had contact, and they're going to call it on Gary Andre with the wrist. Okay, score 16-12. We're under 10 minutes.
Yep. Andre Bolden's played well when he's come in. He's picked up a couple rebounds and assists.
Well, folks have been watching a lot of the games. Andre has started most all the games this year, but he's suffered from some turnover problems here lately, and hopefully he'll get that adjustment made and get back into playing like he was earlier in the season. Little press there by Lansing. Pass from Bolden to Cleary, a little short. I think number 50, Nate Adams, got a piece of that ball. 16-13 in favor of the Cougars. Howard Drenth almost with the steal. Cougars back into man-to-man defense right now. Let's see, Bob McDougal with the ball. Gets it in, and Rob Davis turns around, about a 10-foot jumper. Puts it in. This time no press. Andy Cleary with the ball. 16-15, a 1-point ball game. Cougars in the lead. 9 minutes and 6 seconds remain in the first half. Reggie Flynn out on top. Andy Cleary. Ooh, ball just did make it to Gary Andre. Cougars having a little trouble finding a shot. Howard Drenth passes one up there. Reggie Flynn on the drive, puts it off of glass, gets a good bucket. 18-15. What'd you think, Gordon? Looked like a travel before he shot?
No, I thought it was all right.
Okay.
I thought it was good.
Well, the ref did too. I'll keep my opinion to myself. Rob Davis turns around. Now McDougal with the shot. No good. Oh, strong tip in there by Nate Adams. brings Lansing within one again, 18-17. 8 minutes and 19 seconds remaining in the first half. Reggie Flynn gets a shot from about 15, passes it up. Andre Bolden on a drive. Andy Cleary with the ball, looks inside. Reggie Flynn tries a drive, nothing doing. Now Andy Cleary's top of the key. Had a shot, but didn't take it. We're down under 10 seconds on our shot clock, Gordon. We got to put something up in a hurry. Andre Bolden forces one up and gets it. Okay. 2 seconds left on the shot clock. I think that's about as far as we've milked that clock all year.
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
20-17 in favor of the Cougars, and we're having some shot clock difficulties. And we've got a little break in the action. Gordon, the women were 4-1 in conference play coming into tonight's game against the Lansing Stars, and they came up on the short end tonight.
That's right. Well, going back to Wednesday, they went into a tie with Glen Oaks. They had a big game down at Glen Oaks, and they won Glen Oaks, got into a tie. Don Thomas had 29 points, 11 rebounds, and Kalamazoo Valley shot 48 free throws, which got to be close to a record, but tonight they lost 75-58. And so they're knocked back into second place.
All right. Number 30 into the game for Lansing is Mike Glass. Miller on the drive. Howard Drenth rejects that shot. Comes off with the ball. And here come the Cougars. 20-17. Cougars in the lead with 7 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in the first half. Now looks like a 2-1-2.
Yeah. I don't think Kalamazoo Valley